What is going on, guys? It's Stab, and today we are bringing back another Wi-Fi battle. It's nice to record these pretty semi-frequently, but we have a nice team here today, a new team, and it's a little bit more balanced than you guys are used to seeing me use, but it's a lot of fun. I like the mons on it, so today we are taking on Ivan. He has a nice team here. Pretty cool team. We'll go over the teams in a second. I just want to say real quick that I do have another battle with this team that was also really good, so you'll get to see it twice. As far as our actual team today, we have a Swords Dance Gliscor, more of an offensive variant with Swords Dance, Ice Fang, and Earthquake, and then Roost, a Mega Gallade right there with Zen Headbutt, Close Combat, and I believe Ice Punch. And then we have Tapu Lele, Scarf, 4 attacks, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Hidden Power Fire. And then we got a nice defensive core here, kind of rounded out a defensive Tapu Fini with 2 attacks being Moonblast and Surf, and then Taunt and Defog. Special defensive Jirachi with Stealth Rock, Wish Protect, and Iron Head, and then a 4 taxed mixed attacking Goodra with a Soul Vest. So, my boy Ivan right here is rocking a team of what I'm assuming to be Mega Blastoise, Incineroar, Greninja, possibly Battle Bond, looking at the team, Mimikyu, and then a defensive wall core of Sylveon and Toxapex, which of course is going to be very annoying. Basically, with this team here, it looks pretty, kind of balanced as well, but a little bit more offensive than ours. Makes sense that he has Sylveon just because Blastoise doesn't really have any recovery, and his team kind of appreciates the wish support. Other than that, basically our main win candidate, looking at his team here, is going to be the SD Gliscor and possibly the Gallade to break. Gliscor does pretty well after we get rid of that Greninja and weaken the Blastoise a little bit, but other than that, we should be good to go today, and without further ado, we're going to jump into the game and see what went down. I do have a cool background today. If you guys remember the last battle, we had the cave. This time we are in the woods. And I really wanted this battle to be underwater, but I couldn't figure out how to make that work. I'll play with it more. Maybe I'll send up a tutorial. I know that's pretty popular for people who want to do custom backgrounds. Anyway, I'm going to lead off Gliscor because it dealt well with this pretty much everything on his team. And anything that didn't deal with, such as the Blastoise right here, we have a pretty safe switch in, being our Tapu Fini. So, as I predicted in the team preview, it's probably going to be Mega Blastoise, and it does turn out to be just that. Now, with our Misty trade up, he can't actually burn us or toxic us or anything like that. So, again, very safe switching, and, it's nice to see, does he have the Water Pulse, does he have Hydro Pump, or does he have Scald? And the first turn here, he is going to Mega Evolve and just fire off a nice, safe Scald. Really didn't want to get my Gliscor burned. I guess I could have protected up on it, but like I said, I don't have Protect, so we need to be able to get our Toxic Orb up safely, which we cannot do against Blastoise. So he fires off that Scald, and here, I know I can't really do anything to this, but at the same time, he can't really do anything to me, so I figure out that he's probably going to go either for his nature's into his Sylveon, or possibly just a normal switch in because, again, Blastoise can't really touch Tapu Fini, which I believe here I just clicked Nature's Madness. That is the other attack. I have Moonblast and Nature's Madness, not Surf. Which is just as well because it works out very well against Sylveon because, obviously, we wouldn't have been able to do very much giving Sylveon side defense here. So, Surf, not needed this time, put us pop it with the Nature's Madness, get off 50%. It does a little bit less because of its leftovers recovery. But now I know I can pretty much threaten this with Jirachi. Again, he doesn't need a Will-O-Wisp or anything like that, but this shouldn't be able to touch me. I am especially defensive, and Sylveon really doesn't have a whole lot of things he could do. Plus, I'm expecting it to try and get up some recovery with the Wish, being that it was knocked down so low, and that this, is a nice check to my Tapu Lele, so he does want to keep it somewhat healthy. Based on the fact that he's going for Protect, I'm assuming that it's just a simple Wish Protect variant of Sylveon. I know this is a pretty free turn to get up my Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock's going to help chip down his Blastoise because Blastoise doesn't have its own recovery, and then also get chip on just a lot of his team, including the Incineroar, which is a possible nuisance if it's Scarf and can do a lot of damage to quite a few things on my team, or, you know, a bulkier set with Will-O-Wisp. Fire up the Stealth Rocks there, going to go ahead and switch out, expecting him to want to go into his Incineroar to take on my Jirachi. So this is an opportunity for me at least to either fire from Earthquake, or at the very least get up my Toxic Orb pretty safely. Misty Terrain does go away, so he can he can't status my guys now, but I do get my Poison Orb, Toxic Orb up there. So he doesn't know what kind of Gliscor I am at this point, so there's no way he's going to stay in. I believe what I do is expecting him to go to Blastoise. I believe I go back to Tapu Fini, maybe. Or alternatively, I believe I just fire off a safe Earthquake. I kind of want to gauge what kind of Blastoise this is. If it's more defensive, it's going to take a bit more damage than I initially expected to get in range of my Gliscor. But based on this damage, he is probably a bulkier but still offensive type of Mega Blastoise. Being that, as it may, we're just going to go back into our Tapu Lele here. I figured he was going to try to Scald me, and I didn't really care about the Scald burn. I also wanted to check for Ice Beam, which he does end up having. I could have gone to my Finny and possibly gone for the Nature's Madness to weaken this, but at the same time, I didn't want him to spin my rocks away, and I thought that Lele was a more offensive threat to him than just going safely into my Finny. Unfortunately, I paid dearly for it because he does get the freeze on the Ice Beam, and 10% is always 100, so he's just going to repeatedly fire off Ice Beams, which I don't know if that means he doesn't have Rapid Spin, or maybe just decided that Tapu Fini, Tapu Lele, that is, if it woke up, it was a massive threat to his team, so he's going to kill me with a couple Ice Beams here, and yeah, big breaker variant of team and good stuff to team kind of got shitted on there. So knowing that my Psychic Terrain is up for a few more turns, I'm going to go to Gallade and Mega Evolve. I clicked Swords Dance because I figure the gods aren't going to punish me twice in a row. They already made me lose my Lele to a bullshit freeze, but I figured there's no way he's going to burn me with Scald this turn, so living on the edge, we do go for the Swords Dance right into space. We can attack with either Zen Headbutt or Close Combat on the next turn. So as long as he doesn't burn us, we should be in a very good position. Blastoise does go for the Scald, and luckily for us, he does not snag the burn. That still did quite a lot of damage. That's it over half. Gallade has decent special defense. So do connect on our Zen Headbutt. I actually get a crit. Crit definitely didn't matter. +2 Zen Headbutt in Psychic Terrain. Definitely did not matter. But the Psychic Terrain does go away, unfortunately. No way to set it back up because our Tapu Lele is dead. But we were able to take advantage of it for at least one turn and get a big threat, which was Blastoise out of the way. Now, because he's not Ash form yet, I know that Water Shuriken should not be doing very much damage at all to my Gallade, and he does fire off said Water Shuriken, and it does about 14 each time. We should be pretty good. It should live at a decent amount of health, but our opponent decides that he's going to get 5 hits today. So we live on 4 HP, and we're able to fire off a Close Combat, and Gallade sinks at second kill as Greninja's out of the way. At this point, both of his water types are down, and against passive things like Toxapex or Sylveon, we should be able to set up a Swords Dance easily and win. So we're going to be in a very good position. I'm not going to try and save my Gallade for some dumb reason, and he actually brings out what I believe to be his Mimikyu here, and Mimikyu is quite dangerous, considering that I believe, based on how big that thing is, it's definitely a totem variant. I didn't actually use the totem variants in the game. I knew how to unlock them, but I just didn't spend a lot of time on it. He does knock me out with the Shadow Sneak. Crit did not matter, of course. If I had my own Shadow Sneak, that would have been good, because I would have been able to pop his disguise. But I'm just going to go in my Finny. I know that he shouldn't be able to do very much damage to me, and even if he gets up some Swords Dances, I can at least take a hit to the point where I can, break his disguise and possibly, at least eat a hit from my Goodra and get off a Sludge Wave and kill him. But he does go for the SD, as I believe I just fire off Moonblast to break the disguise, which is exactly what happens here. He is pretty threatening. I mean, Mimikyu has ideal coverage being Fairy and Ghost to kind of decimate a lot of teams. Luckily, we are breaking the disguise there. And then on this turn, I believe I fire off another Moonblast because I want to get him as low as possible. I want to get him to a point where he can't just revenge kill my Gudra or my Jirachi too easily. Gudra will go down, of course, but Jirachi should be able to live at least one hit as long as he doesn't get any more Swords Dances up. He does pop me with the Play Rough, which I believe after my left rose recovery, it is going to be a roll to knock me out. But Finny dips, dives, and dodges, and we have a miss on the Play Rough, allowing me to get a further strike off on this Mimikyu. I do get a special attack drop on that one, but of course that doesn't matter. And now we are definitely a little bit outside of range of a Play Rough, so he misses again. The first one definitely mattered more than the second one, just because the second one would not have killed, but we are able to take out his Mimikyu with another Moonblast. He is getting down to the end here. I believe he only has a couple more Pokemon left, Incineroar being one, and I have unfortunately forgotten the others, but we are in a good position. He sends out his Toxapex. Yes, Toxapex. That was it's Toxapex, Sylveon, and Incineroar that he has left. He goes out to his Toxapex now. My play here is 100% to taunt. I don't want to deal with Toxapex. I don't want to deal with any other shenanigans that he could possibly have. Fortunately, I don't catch him with the taunt because he goes right for the Venoshock. I'm assuming that this is a Toxapex and Venoshock set with either maybe Scald and Recover as the other two moves. So he doesn't have Haze, which means technically I should be able to set up on him pretty easily. I don't really want to switch into a potential Scald. At this point, I don't care if he poisons my Finny with his Venoshock. Just need a safe switch in here. So I'm going to Nature's Madness, keeping the Toxapex low and potentially forcing it to either switch out and get its Regenerator back or force it to where it'll go for a status type of move and, give me a free turn on the taunt. So he does hit me with the Venoshock. Unfortunately, this time he does get a crit, so we're not going to be able to stall this out as easily as we would have been able to before. Stall out of health, that is, not kill it or anything, but, crits are unfortunate regardless of how and when they actually happen, so very, very low. I'm just going to Nature's Madness again. He is taunted, so he's not going to be able to recover unless he switches out, and I will allow him to kill me to potentially get a switch into my Gliscor and end this one. So all we need is a switch into our Gliscor and go for the SD, and then we can start wrecking house from there. So he does knock me out with the third Venoshock. Tapu Fini putting in a lot of work today. His taunt does wear off, which kind of influences my play here. I figure there's probably it's probably more in his favor to switch out and get the regenerator health back. But just in case he were to click recover there, I didn't want to be in a scenario where Earthquake didn't happen to kill and or go for Swords Dance and have him recover and then still be in a situation. So just fire for Earthquake. This is a physical move, of course, so Sylveon does actually take quite a bit of damage from this one. No, I should be able to live a Hyper Voice pretty easily, and he needs this alive to be able to potentially win the game, I guess. So figure more than likely he is going to be going for the Wish here, so I do set up my Swords Dance pretty safely. Swords Dance Gliscor is actually really fun to use, so I did enjoy having that on the team as he does go for the Wish. I thought I could possibly get another Swords Dance for probably no reason at this point, but that is if he were to go for Protect. But I didn't want a scenario in which he were to pass the Wish off to his Toxapex, so I'm just going to click the Earthquake again, and we are going to score the KO on the Sylveon, and then I believe all he has left now is his Incineroar, which is going to take a lot of damage from rocks and easily be in range of an Earthquake, or his Toxapex here. I know Toxapex can't touch me or do anything, so if he wants to scald, he can scald, but I will outspeed him and just click Earthquake a second time, and that should be more than enough. He doesn't even try to like baneful bunker me or anything weird like that. So Toxapex going down. Always nice to see a dead Toxapex. And then his last Pokemon is, of course, an Incineroar. And even if he is Scarf and outspeeds us, he has to go for probably Flare Blitz because it is his strongest move. And, we should be able to eat that up from full health, regardless of what he, decides to do. Does take that Rocks Chip, and then he is not Scarf or anything, so he is slower than us. And we do just click the Earthquake and win the game by a score of 3-0. So good game to Ivan. He played pretty well for what his team was. His team just kind of lost to Gliscore. So, team matchup sometimes is not in your favor. But I did have a lot of fun playing this game. I like that nice and cool custom background. I had a lot of fun making that. I will probably, like I said earlier, do some type of tutorial just in case you guys want to know how to do it too. You do need Citra and a couple other things. So it's not something everybody else can do, but maybe somebody's interested. If you guys enjoyed the battle, leave a like, leave a comment if you so desire, and subscribe if you're not. Anyway, guys, I'm Stab. I'll be back some other time with another video. Anyway, guys, peace.